Now, something that I recommend everyone to do, especially family and friends and people that actually may listen to me, is using my color math. Okay, this is something that I came up with a little while ago. It's color math. The longer you keep the vehicle, the lighter the car should be. So I'm going to repeat this. The longer you keep that vehicle, the lighter the color should be. Unless you are buying ceramic coating for your paint, because then it won't have any impact on the actual looks of that specific color. Let me give you an example. If you're going to keep the car for 2, 3, or 4 years, then go nuts. You can get whatever you want because it's not going to be a problem after that term. And black, although is as beautiful as they can be, it is the color that takes the biggest and most aggressive beating when it comes to the exposure. Stone chips, door dings, car washes, scratches, shopping cart dings, and so on. Black is what will show the absolute most. So that is the color that you should keep the shortest period of time. Now, if you're doing ceramic coating, that's a caveat that I'm not going to use for this. Now, if you're planning to keep this vehicle for an extended period of time, I'm talking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and so on, I can tell you through personal experience and based on what we see, we get exposed to maybe 20 to 30,000 car transactions in a year. So based on what we've seen, did I say in a year? We get 2,000 to 3,000 car transactions in a year, 20 to 30,000 car transactions in my career. We've seen that white cars and light silver cars are the ones that show the least amount of wear and tear. The least amount of wear and tear is shown by white cars and silver cars. So when you come in, you first determine how long you're planning to keep this car. Boom, you have one parameter. At that point, you need to decide if you're going to keep the vehicle for 3 years, then allow 3 colors that will satisfy the least amount of wear and tear for that time frame. So you can go with the red, you can go with the blue, you can go with the black. Now, if you are going to keep the vehicle for 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years and so on, then make another decision. You can look at a white car, at a silver car, or you can look at a gunmetal gray, and that will satisfy both ends of the spectrum. Saying that, discuss this with a dealer. Give them your choices. Give them your number 1, number 2, and number 3 choices. Because at this point, you are going to have some sort of a reciprocal relationship with your salesperson and with your store in which they're going to try to facilitate whatever you want. There is no real reason why you would want to buy a white car and the dealership intentionally would want to give you something else. Now, a very good friend of mine called me last weekend, and he bought a Hyundai from a Hyundai store, and something not good happened. He was very, very upset. Apparently, he bought a vehicle. There was a serial number on the bill of sale, and when he was supposed to pick it up on a Wednesday, and on the Monday he received a phone call from the general sales manager saying, Mr. Customer, we've made a mistake. The vehicle that we sold you had been dealer traded to another store. So my friend wanted to punish the dealer. He was furious about this. And you understand what I'm saying, Ken?
Yeah, so the dealership traded the vehicle that they had promised to your friend to another dealership in this practice that's called, what you said, dealer trading? Is that the
dealer trade? Yeah,
so that's
dealer
the correct
trade.
way
So
to talk about it?
That is correct. So he was furious. He felt that he had been wronged. And folks, listen to me. To dealer trade a vehicle instead of selling the vehicle retail is something that hurts the dealer. So by definition, what happened that day was not done against the customer. So this sort of thing does happen from time to time. And I can tell you that 100% of the time, the dealer will always choose to sell that vehicle retail to a customer instead of dealer trading it out. So the fact that this even took place, it was clearly an oversight and a mistake that hurt the dealership. Now, because it's so late in the year, now there are no colors that resemble that specific machine. And that's what my friends was super upset about now that he wasn't going to get the color that he wanted. And that is because whenever you fixate on one specific color, you need to be prepared to be disappointed. You have to be. This is not marriage that we're talking about here. We're talking about a car. You make your decision on a car. It's just the car, folks. I've said it a million times before. A car is the largest waste of money that anyone could have. So for you to get vexed because you can't get the color of this waste of money, it doesn't make any sense. This is the reason why it's always a good idea to be equipped with 3 or 4 color choices sometimes to give your salesperson in case they cannot get your number one choice. Does that explain the color situation at the end of the model year, Ken?
Well, at the end of the day, obviously coming in with 3 options is just going to be better for you as the consumer because, like you said, you're not going to be disappointed. It's also arming the dealership with more options to satisfy your needs. So if you're looking for a specific model with specific options and you have all these other specifications, it seems that the color should be one of the last things that you're necessarily concerned about if you want to close the deal. So at the end of the day, it does make a lot of sense to consider all these things down the road and consider what the resale value is going to be and consider how long you're going to be keeping the car when you're considering this. Because I got to be honest, it's not something that I would have ever considered going into this much depth when you're thinking about the color. I always just sort of think it's an aesthetic thing, and it is what it is. You just pick a color that you like. But it does make sense that when you think about the resale value later and you think about the way that the car is going to wear and how long you're going to have it for, that you have to give it serious consideration. And keeping your options open seems to be the best way to make sure that you're getting a deal that's going to be good for you as the consumer.